Okay, the offending Welsh plug's down there. Well, at long last, I've sold Mr. Red. She's going. Yep. Sold it to a really nice gentleman, and he said it's going to go and use it as a plaything and restore it a little bit more. But before he picks it up, I've got to do a couple of jobs for him, as I promised I'd do. So we're going to get stuck into them now. I'm going to change one of the Welsh plugs that's leaking. I've never changed the Welsh plug, so let's see how we go. Okay, let's have a look at this beast underneath. We'll start off at the front. Obviously it's going to be a bit greasy because she's over 50 years old. But those crossmember rubbers look in good order. The steering rack bushes look in good order. The lower control arm bushes don't look like they've got a problem. And they're in neoprenes, or whatever's rubber. Up top, those shockies, well, they have been replaced. Those upper control arm bushes look good, and they're the original type ones with rubber. Brake hoses look in good order, no cracks or anything there. That's a newish ball joint up the top and a newish ball joint down below. Tie rod ends, they look okay. There's no weeping from the brakes, we've bled all them. There's a bit of weeping from probably the rear main's got a bit of a drop on it, not too serious. It's not really dripping too much, but you know, that hasn't been cleaned in 50 odd years. Brakes are going alright, the handbrake cable's alright. On this side it's pretty much the same. Upper and lower ball joints have been replaced. The shockers have been replaced. All the brakes are good, I've checked all them. Let's go back a bit. Transmission, pretty good. That old transmission mount probably could do with replacing at some stage. It's not falling apart. I've got to look at that. I think that's stuffed, that gear there for the speedo, because the speedo's not working, but I've got another one of them. I don't know about the cotton reel bush, but can't see that. Exhaust system's nice and sound. There's no leaks, anything in it. It's been pretty well looked after. Go to the back a bit further. So what do we got here? Yeah, stainless steel mufflers, they're in good order. Drivetrain's still in good order. There's not too much sweeping from that differential, like there's 50 years worth of grease build up on it. Shockies have got been replaced sometime. They got, but they're working good. It's got plenty of grease under there, so it looks like it's been well greased over its years. They're not making any rattles. Everything looks pretty tidy there. Trailing arm bushes are in good order. Still got its dust covers on the universal joints. Back brakes, well, they haven't been done since Jesus Christ was a boy, but they're working. You can tell they're working. Oh, excuse me. Because they're nice and shiny. Is that shiny? Can't see. This one's that shiny. We haven't done much with it. Yeah, it's working. Rear mufflers, they're okay. They're original. Look, original British Leyland mufflers. Bit of a weep there, but I don't think you have to worry about that. Solid, no rust in the floors in this thing. Solid as. Looks like it's had some sort of new body protection at some stage. Very good. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, she's good and solid. No rust anywhere on those floors. This one here had a little bit of surface rust on the top, which I've cleaned up. But as you can see, it hasn't penetrated through to the bottom of it. Okay, let's leave it. Okay, let's see if she'll start. Choke on. Oh, yes. Never got that tacho to work. Choke off. We'll duck it out of this driveway. Okay, the offending Welsh plug's down there. Won't be too hard to get to, I don't think. except now I've got a hot manifold, but we'll work on that. Okay, I've dropped the air conditioning down a bit, so we're just going to see if we can get this out. Like, I love using hammers. Well, that took a bit. Yeah, took a little bit getting it out because it was in an awkward position. Once I got an angle on it, old steel Welsh plug. Should be doing all of them, but I'm not. Getting a socket to fit it is proving more of an issue. We'll probably start with that one. Let's see if we can start with this one. You're supposed to use special Welsh plug glue, but this high temp gasket cement stuff should do it. Okay, all done. Now to do the other 6. Now, at least it's not leaking for the guy to pick it up now. Bye-bye, Mr. Red. Oops, hope you don't fall off the back there. So, I would have liked to have taken a video of it, but Wifey took Arnie, the XJR, back to the mainland last week, and I get a call about 15 minutes out, and she said, there's a drama, I've got a red light going and it's warning me vehicle too low, and I'm getting air suspension fault warnings. I said, well, pull up, and she pulled up. And I said, does it look like it's on its arse or anything? And she said, I can't tell. So she sent me a couple of photos. And I looked at it, I thought, yeah, okay. So I had Delta with me, and it was the only car I had on my motorbike. So I only got Delta and went over to pick her up. And as you can see, both the rear air shockings are completely down. Front's still up. And we started the car up, and I couldn't hear the pump running, but I couldn't understand why both rear were down and the front weren't down. I think, well, it could be just a blown air shock. I said, you take Delta. She drove Delta home to the mainland with the dog, when no dramas there. I take the car back to the Jag K, and it drove like a tractor. It just bouncing. So we get it home, scraping its ass sometimes on a couple of bumps there on the exhaust. So I didn't do too any damage, but we get it home. I start investigating it, and I'm thinking it must be just one blown air shock. Went underneath the car, I jacked it up, and I'm squeezing the right one, and it's flat. And so, okay, well, there's no air in that, so I go under the left one, and I start squeezing the bag of the left one, and I can hear air penetrating from it. I thought, oh, definitely we've blown a left-hand air shock. Now, Arnie had a major refit with Bilstein air shocks all around a couple of years back, and a new pump, so it's had that Cat's air suspension system fully rebuilt about a couple of years ago. So it was unusual that it blew that shock, because it was not that old. Anyway, for further investigation, I go into the boot to have a look at the airline that's heading into that left-hand shock, and lo and behold, that the airline cable that goes into the top of the shock to keep the air in is completely ripped off, and the brass inlet plug or nipple that holds that line in with the collar is sheared. Very strange. Now, I only got that photo of a close-up one. I forgot to get one farther out to show you exactly where it was, but that's the top of the shock absorber where there's 6 bolts holding it in. So I thought, we couldn't understand how that happened. Anyway, the following day, I have get out to the car, and the left-hand front wheel is flat. So what I did was, I've ordered a new collar, nipple, whatever it's called, new collar for it, and it's coming. I couldn't get one in Australia, it was back order, so I found one in the States, a $10 part. I'm paying $66 for, that's okay. but it's coming. So I actually was able to cut the hose and clean it straight and put it back with the old nipple. It is still leaking, and it I reset the onboard diagnostic computer with the fault codes, and the pump started working again, and the arsene went up. So that's all big deal. Next morning, left-hand front tyre's flat as. So I jack it up, I look for a puncher, no puncher, and I look inside the wheel, and lo and behold, look at that. I thought, Wifey's hit a pothole, and she didn't tell me. So I fronted her, and she still says she didn't hit a pothole. So we had this damaged shock absorber that it's really hit hard for that to move a little bit. I don't even know how it moved. Maybe those 6 bolts weren't tight enough up the top, on the top end. I have no idea, but it has damaged it because that nipple has hit the frame and damaged it and sheared that line off. So I thought, okay, I actually was able to bash it out a bit because it was, and be able to let it to hold air. But so I swapped it to the rear left-hand left-hand wheel, and lo and behold, the left-hand wheel is nearly as bad. It's got a dent in it as well. So that pothole's gone, damaged one air shock and 2 of my rims on my XJR. That's okay. So what we've done is I've put both those damaged wheels at the rear. Now I've got 2 good front ones, so I still have to go and get trued and checked and x-rayed and make sure there's no damage to them. And I've got the new parts on order for the shock absorber. So there you go. So all I want to say is there's another story. If you like this video and if you made it this far, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, you can do that too. And if you want to leave a comment or a question or give me some advice on something, I love hearing from you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Fully rebuilt over its past